Welcome to E4 Electric, your #1 source for what's happening now in the world of electric cars. I am back and I'm ready to catch up with all kinds of things that have been happening in the last 9 days. I thought it would be a relatively slow week, but we got some interesting news coming out of Tesla. Elon Musk had another Twitter storm promising us all kinds of features in 2018 that are pretty exciting. Some news coming out of Porsche. Nissan Leaf is going on sale tomorrow here in the United States, so some news about that. Also more stuff, interesting things coming out of China. So we're going to talk all about that, and we're going to start right now. All right. I am so excited to be back. For those of you guys who are watching for the first time, I was gone for about 9 days on my vacation. And if you are watching for the first time and interested in staying up to date with what's happening in the universe of electric cars, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification icon so you can become a part of this community. All right, I am so excited to be back. I know I was on my vacation, but every day I was kind of missing you guys, just talking every day about electric cars. I was keeping my eye on the news with some limited internet on the cruise ship that I had. Meanwhile, I hope you guys enjoyed my first annual E-Awards. And I have to admit that I got in late last night, was just trying to get ready for this show. Just was not able to go over the comments for the last 9 days. That's probably going to take me 2 or 3 hours, but I promise you I'm going to do this today and tomorrow probably, because it's going to take a while. But I'm looking forward to it. It appears, just from like a quick look, that not everybody agreed with all nominees and winners. Who would have thought that was going to happen? So, but I hope you enjoyed at least some of the concepts and nominees and the winners for all kinds of different categories I had. And of course, Patreons got to see an exclusive sexiest feature of the year on patreon.com. I see some regulars already use Tesla channel from Toronto, Greg in Wisconsin, Cormac in Ireland, and so many more of you. Sagafoda from Germany. Pretty much all the regulars, guys. I hope you're having a new year. Let me know. Have you met the new year yet? Are you close to the countdown? How are you feeling? Where are you celebrating? Does it involve the electricity or your electric car? Here in California, we're one of the last ones to actually celebrate that. So it's only about 11 o'clock here. So we have a long way to go. So it is definitely, Use Tesla channel says, we missed your daily news updates. I missed doing them. So we are going to start right now. And let me start with, I have some footage, interesting footage from my vacation. I'm not sure if I'm going to show it or not, but we'll see how it goes. But let me show you some of the footage that I got from my drive from San Francisco, Bay Area where I live, to Los Angeles. And look what I saw. By the way, this is Avila Beach, which is my favorite beach town in the entire state. I love California, but I love this tiny little town. We came in there with my girlfriend to just kind of supercharge nearby and just kind of check it out, what's happening there. And look what we've saw. I really, you know, I gotta admit, I haven't been keeping up with the SpaceX stuff, but look, we got to see a beautiful launch. The sky was beautiful, and it was amazing. I have the full video posted on my Patreon page for those of you guys who want to see the whole thing, and I kind of talk about it. Really cool. You know what I kind of felt as we watched that, but really didn't even know if everything was going actually okay, because as you can see, it's flying away from us. So it looked a little bit, we didn't know it was supposed to blow up or not supposed to blow up. So, but that was such a treat. So that was pretty cool. I mean, apparently there was some accidents even that this caused, because people were watching it, you know, kind of in a clear sky, and there's a video of dash cam video that people just smashed into each other as they watched this. A lot of people didn't know what it was. They thought it was UFO. There was, you know, some military action, but it was Falcon 9 delivering some satellites into the orbit, but they decided not to land it back. They decided to actually blow it up, from what I understand. Not sure why. If you guys know why they've decided not to keep it and just blow it up instead, that was a plan before they launched, so it wasn't like an emergency blow up or whatever. So let me know. Saga Photo says living in California will be much better. That is it depends, but yes, I love living here. Varun is from India. It's Lucas March says at 7 p.m. in London, still 5th to New Year's. All right, well, let me know what you guys have planned. I actually have no idea what I'm gonna do tonight. I'm just trying to do this for now, just to kind of get through all of the things that I want to talk about. Ika Tran says, can't wait to hear Tesla updates. Okay, well, let's get going with those. So there are quite a few new features that Elon has announced. Basically, he at first posted saying, hey guys, Happy New Year. He always thanks all of the current owners, for those like myself and a lot of you guys who supported him and the company from the very beginning by buying the first cars that he was making, and also kind of asking everybody, hey guys, what do you want to see in 2018? And needless to say, there were a few extra suggestions. And now one of the suggestions was something that I still didn't realize. First, let's talk about the new Easter egg. So that was one of the updates that you guys noticed there. You can either go to the Easter egg panel by hitting the logo icon and picking the reindeer, or you can use your voice and say ho ho ho, and your car will turn into this sled and will be driving, just like if you saw your car driving, it will be driving on the road. And other cars, I think other cars turn also in or maybe in the reindeers, but anyway, that's kind of cool. But then there was an Easter egg inside of the Easter egg. I guess you activated by saying ho ho ho, and I forgot the damn keyword. Okay, well, let me know in the chat room or in a replay. Forgot the keyword, and I had it written down somewhere and I forgot. Anyway, so there's an Easter egg inside Easter eggs that will play music, it will start snowing and stuff like that. So it's kind of fun. I still think the best Easter egg, of course, was the Model X dance. So I'm still, that's still my favorite, but this is something you guys can enjoy throughout this holiday season. But I wonder if they're going to just keep it for the rest of the year. That would be, I mean, that won't make sense, but it would be kind of nice. So try it out if you have your Tesla and if you had your update. I have not had an update yet because my car was parked at the cruise ship terminal for more than a week, so I haven't really run it until today. So hopefully it will happen, and I'll check it out myself. Also on your app, by the way, there are some updates. One of them is that you can precondition your battery if you live in the area that's cold, and it takes away a lot of features if you just get into your very cold car. Obviously the acceleration is not as fast because the cold battery cannot deliver the energy very fast. I think there are a few other features that you get disabled, but now you can start preheating your battery, preconditioning your battery using your app. So that was one of the updates for those of you guys who live in the cold weather, and especially right now, I'm sure you can use that. Also, Koog Arpa says he is back. I am back. That's how he spelled it. I love it. Yeah, and another thing, and for those of us who have more than one Tesla, switching between the cars in the app was kind of a pain in the butt because you had to go into the settings and switch to your car. Now you can literally just slide from left to right, and it switches from one car to another. I know quite a few people actually who have both, and a lot of people are now that they're getting delivered Model 3s, probably going to have a Model S and a Model 3, or Model X and a Model 3, or just 2 Model 3s. So I think that feature will get used more and more. Happy New Year to Greece, says use Tesla channel. I'm half Greek, and you guys are speaking Greek right now in my chat room, so I can't figure out what you guys are saying, but I'm sure it's all good. Nigel says, does your Tesla lost much battery leaving it for a week in the warm weather? Okay, so the weather wasn't that warm. Okay, well, relatively, it was about, you got as low as 4 or 5 degrees Celsius. So it's about, what, 40 Fahrenheit? Because it was overnight, so it was pretty cold. It was in Los Angeles where we left it. We had to drive to Los Angeles because that's where the cruise ship kind of ported out of, and I believe we only lost 20 miles. So I think we came in with 170, and we ended up with 150. And by the way, thank you for asking that. That's I've never really kind of the last few times we did that, I didn't really even keep track. So that was kind of good to know that the battery held it up pretty well. But of course, granted, we're not in minus freezing temperatures, so that probably helped. Nigel says, love that you use Celsius. Yeah, you know what? It's one thing that I just could never switch to here in America. By the way, I know you guys all celebrated Christmas and Hanukkah and all that stuff. What I've celebrated is my 25th anniversary immigrating from Russia to America, which was December 24th. And of course, no better way to celebrate coming to America as somewhere that's not in America. This case, Mexico, actually, that's where I celebrated that. A bit of an irony as well, but you know, what are you gonna do? We had to plan this vacation as we usually do in December when my company that I work for having a shutdown. So yes, we celebrated that, and I could never switch to Fahrenheit. It just makes no sense to me. I mean, most of the American measurements like pounds and so forth don't make sense, but you know, the Fahrenheit is just was so difficult. So like, for example, my girlfriend, I just had to figure out and switch to Celsius. We have everything in our cars. I'm looking at my thermostat, everything is in Celsius. So yeah, the weather didn't get under 0 but close to 0 in some nights, and I didn't lose that much range. Another thing I was going to mention that maybe this is a good time to mention that this video and this channel is sponsored by Evanex, the aftermarket accessories for Tesla. And the reason I'm mentioning it at this point is because I used the car cover that I just got from them recently. I did a quick segment about it, and I have to say, normally I don't have that much use for car covers, but this time, because I left my car in a terminal, a long-term parking, so, you know, car thieves know that those cars are unattended for a while. And of course, there was sun, there was cold, there was dusk, there were poop, bird poop, and I used the car cover. And so not only my car, you know, was just still a brand new and shiny looking after I washed it right before the trip, or they had no poop on it, they had nothing. Also, because the car cover does not really identify what kind of car it is, I'm assuming it was less of a target for those people who wanted to get in. And don't forget, it's not always about what kind of a car it is or what's inside, it's how fast thieves can get in and out. If you guys want to see a full video about this, and I have a video about how to avoid your car being broken into after my car got broken into, check it out. It's on my channel. But that's usually what thieves go by, is how fast they can get in and out. And we have a car cover, especially if it's really secured to the car, they usually pass those by, no matter what's underneath the cover, which they still kind of have to find out. So let's see. So yes, thank you for the question. Another thing, let me mention, you know, I've been very critical about the lack of superchargers, especially here in Silicon Valley, and I've admitted fully that when I was taking long-term trips earlier this year and the previous year, I would rent a gas car, which is embarrassing, but that's what I did. Because simply, you know, I was just giving an example. If I go here from San Jose, California to Sacramento, California, it takes about 1.5 to 2 hours of regular driving. But if I had to supercharge, I had to add, you know, almost an hour to that, and I had to supercharge not to 80 but about 100%, because there are no superchargers at that time in Sacramento. So I kind of had to supercharge at Vacaville kind of halfway through and have as much charge as possible to be in Sacramento and to still make it back to Vacaville to charge. And I would just say, you know, screw it, it's just too much time. It's really doubling my trip. And then I realized that Vacaville superchargers started getting busy, and now I had to also wait another half an hour, up to half an hour in line, because it was so busy. So I was pretty critical of that. I was taking, you know, basically using rental gas cars, but we decided to take our Tesla again because there were so many superchargers are now around here. I've noticed, you know, my homepage of this channel right now has a report about the largest supercharger location here in California in the United States, and they have 40 stalls. So we decided, you know what, I think we're gonna go ahead and take our Tesla, which we did, and I have to say the experience was much better. There were so many options for superchargers, and none of them were full. We did stop by at the Calumet Ranch, Calumet City supercharger on the way back, and we talked to the girls who were attendants there, and they said that even though they expected a lot of people and it's pretty busy time of the year, they said the maximum stalls they've seen that were occupied at the same time was 25 out of 40. So obviously Tesla has done a really good job kind of getting people like me back on the bandwagon as far as being able to travel without having to wait for superchargers before I wait for my car to be charged. So I was very happy. I mean, we have not, and again, you know, this is Christmas time, this is vacation time here in California and in the United States. So we have I've been very surprised that no supercharger we had to wait, and there were so many different locations. So that's just something I wanted to something I wanted to report to you guys because I've been a critic. Now, with that said, as you know, this year Tesla wanted to double, I believe, the number of locations and stalls around the world for the supercharger. Even though they've done a great job expanding it, they have not reached that goal. I think they're about what, about 65% or 70%, you know, into their goal. But today is the last day of the year, so they're not going to reach that goal. Once again, Tesla has underachieved, but I have to say they've achieved enough right now, probably because the Model 3 was delayed, so there's not as many Model 3s are out there. So both delays, I guess, kind of helped each other out. But I expect them to build many more next year. But I just wanted to say that it has been a breeze to just go through California in this busy time and supercharge. Our triplet in the chat room says, "I'm glad you do celebrate your citizenship." So I thank you, but this is not citizenship. This is our family coming to America. It takes a while to get a green card, and then you have to apply for citizenship after 5 years of having a green card. So I only have my citizenship. I was dragging my feet because I don't travel as much, so I didn't really need a passport. But I've probably been a citizen for maybe like 17 years, but I've been here in America for 25, and that's what celebrate, because that was a big deal for us. It wasn't a leisurely move. Let's see what we can do in America. It was actually kind of a refugee situation, so we had to get out of a bad situation. So we celebrate because we weren't really prepared for the move. No language, no job, no green card, all that stuff. So that wasn't all that easy, especially coming from a country where we were comfortable with as far as knowing what's up and having jobs and stuff like that. Let's see. Use Tesla channel says, know this way fully phantom drain based off sitting in the cold for 33 hours. I made a video about it. All right, we'll check it out definitely. We glad you're here, says our triplet. So am I, but I am looking forward to traveling and maybe exploring the world, which I just did when we docked in 3 different Mexican cities, Puerto Vallarta, Cabo San Lucas, and Mazatlan. I wanted to explore the cities. We kind of went out there, not touristy locations. We had some friends to show us around. You know, very interesting to be in a different country for once. And most importantly, you know, I was really looking I was really looking for electric cars, and I saw a few Chevy Sparks, and they're all gas. They're all gas cars there, and I kind of have to understand, because there are no charging stations. I've ended up seeing no electric cars, even though we also went to some richer, you know, $1-million house areas with, you know, rich Americans and Europeans living there, and I didn't see any Teslas or electric cars. So, you know, we kind of have to realize it's not a thing yet in the rest of the world. We have a lot of work to do here. So Nigel in the chat room says, he's asking, are Tesla chargers mainly working? You mean like stalls? Because I've only seen like 2 stalls in my entire 5 years of owning the car that were out of order. So I have not seen them. They're all pretty much mainly working. I think they've done a good job either making them where they don't break or servicing them when they need to. And by the way, the ones that I saw that were broken, it was because somebody didn't put it back up, you know, didn't fix it into the supercharger dock, and it just fell on the ground and they ran over it. So that was kind of a fault of the Tesla owner. And I got to tell you, not to be too critical, I know you guys don't like me when I'm not all 100% happy, but what is up with some of us backing into the spots? You know, we have automatic parking, we have obviously lines though, and I still see some Teslas parked like this into their spots, which makes it hard to get in and out for other cars. But I don't know. But let's all back up really nicely and tight, so it's all perfectly like sardines in the can. Caesar in the chat room says, I asked Tesla to buy a supercharger. They said no. Of course, I wonder how high the charge rate can ever get for home charging. They won't sell the superchargers. Well, superchargers is not something they can just sell to you. These are like, I don't even know if a regular house would have enough electricity or power really to be able to supercharge. Because even if you want to get a 40 amp breaker, that's like a big deal to dedicate specifically for regular charging. So I'm not really sure if you can supercharge anyway, even if you have an ability to buy it from Tesla. I'm wondering if that's the case. And I think it's a pretty high risk procedure if you don't always know what you're doing, maybe, or your electrician doesn't know what they're doing. So I think I mean, this could be a liability issue, but I don't think they're going to offer that anytime soon. Let's see. Why people baking up for parking is asking Nikolai. Well, because of superchargers. You know, a lot of them are basically you have to back up, right? So you can charge. So there was no choice. In some of them, I was just saying people could do a better job backing up because we have like 2 different ways how Tesla features are assisting us in this. Okay, guys, I still have new features on the screen. We're only going through what, 2 Easter egg, and we have gone through. Is that the only one that we've gone through? Okay, well, let's talk about the most commonly requested one, from what I understand. So Elon is replying to all his tweets, and a lot of them, not a lot of them, some of them, well, a good number of them, he's basically saying yes, we'll do it. And so, for example, this one, the guy was asking about the rain sensing wipers, and I realized, like, what do you mean Tesla still doesn't have it? I thought I have it when it rains and starts moving, but I'm on Autopilot 1, and I realized this is one of those Autopilot 2 features that still haven't been implemented. And you know, as you guys know, I'm a big critic of what's happening with Autopilot 2. As a matter of fact, if you watched my E-words in the most disappointing feature of the year, the Tesla Autopilot 2 took the trophy home because of how disappointing it was being rolled out. And this is pretty much one of good examples of it, that, you know, my 2.5-year-old car has that feature where if you buy a brand new Tesla right now, it won't. Some people are wondering if there are no specific sensors that Tesla put in there for rain, and they just thought that we're going to be able to use like cameras to sense it and some of the radars, and I guess that didn't work out, so they now have to be putting those rain sensors in, but this is just a guess. So it's you know, watch that video and I explain fully why I believe this is the most disappointing electric car feature really of the entire year. So they're trying, you know, he says coming very soon. To me, it's about 2.5 years too late, but I hope they really do get it right, because, you know, this is not just about getting the Autopilot 2 right? It's about moving forward. You know, in another segment that for the E-words I did was the most advanced and the best Autopilot feature, and it wasn't Tesla. I mean, Waymo is far ahead of Tesla, obviously, because they're now using their fully driverless vans in one of the areas I live in, Arizona. Cruise automation that was purchased by GM and being used in Chevy Bolt just to test it is also, you know, at level 4, maybe even level 5 at this point there. So Tesla really has a lot of catching up to do. First, it needs to catch up to itself, and then it needs to catch up to the competition that's kind of running away with it. So that was one of the features that Elon said, okay. Another one was a browser. I don't know if you guys know, we have a browser in our car. The reason a lot of us forgot, because it sucks. I mean, let's be honest with you. I mean, one thing, you can't watch YouTube videos. I'm not really sure if it's a legal issue of having a moving picture on the monitor. I think that's a law in a lot of states here in the United States. But it's just slow. It's just slow. It doesn't display, I believe, a lot of JavaScript code. It just doesn't display a lot of stuff. So a lot of us just don't use it anymore. It's pretty bad. So he's saying that the upgrade is coming. Again, 5 years a little too late, but I'm happy to see it once it's there. Oh, there's somebody said this. They basically said, hey, listen, you guys got to fix this one thing where when the car is parked, and I didn't really think of it. I never had this problem, but it's a Bluetooth problem, right? So Bluetooth connects automatically right now on all Teslas. But what happens is, let's say you're having a business phone call and you took it at home or a home office, and then your car is parked in the garage, and it's not going to pair your phone, of course, because it's off. But let's say your wife or your kids, well, not so much your kids probably, went to do laundry in the garage, and as soon as they pass by with a key, let's say in their pocket or whatever, the car gets turned on, and then the phone gets paired up. So you kind of lose the phone call that you had, and if it's an important phone call, it just kind of goes away. You don't know what happened, but it ended up because the phone is paired up with your car. So that's something That's something that Elon Musk said that they're going to take care of as well. Ben in the chat room says, Penna says it's safer to back up. But it just like I said, I like just backing up because I have a dash cam. So when I'm backed up, I know I have a front and a back one, but the back one is not as good of the quality, and I also have a tint. So I always back up, so if anything happens, my better camera with a better resolution will actually capture whatever it is that's happening, which I hope is not my car being robbed or anything like that. By the way, careful with this feature because I just, we stayed at a hotel before taking the cruise ship, and the valet parking guy parked my car. And apparently he, instead of locking it, he pressed the frunk button and it opened my frunk. So all of my stuff that I usually keep there that's secure, including my credit card sometimes, was pretty much exposed all night at the valet parking garage. I mean, I made a whole big deal out of it, but I also kind of made sure that they understand that the Tesla remote is a very powerful thing, probably the most powerful car remote out there, because, one thing you open up a frunk and expose secured items that are no longer secure. Another thing, and this happened to my girlfriend at the car wash, where they can trigger a valet, the summon feature. And I remember my girlfriend gave a key to one of the car wash attendants, and he messed around with it in the car, activated the summons feature, and it started rolling out of the car wash parking lot into the street. Thank God she realized it, ran and pressed it again. But whenever you give your key to your valet attendant, make sure that you explain to them they can run this car into a traffic and cause some major damage, not just to the car. Obviously, some people can get hurt and die. So it is very powerful. So just something to think about as far as features of the car is concerned. Now, speaking of dash cams, that's one of the most exciting features that I'm waiting for, and it looks like Elon Musk said this is something that they're working on, which means that using the cameras that are already in your Tesla for autopilot, and there's like a lot of them now. I mean, the first one I think had only one I think, but they don't record. I mean, they record, but they don't record for us. And a lot of us are putting dash cams in the car, which, is an extra worry, extra money, and so forth. And the question has always been like, hey, why not the cameras that use the cameras that the Tesla already has to just record? Because that's a simple procedure. Just put an extra hard drive. I'm willing to pay for the feature. Why not do that? And it looks like they're finally coming around to it. Again, all of these promises looks like 2018 promises, but we don't know if this is something they're just about to release, or it might take months and months and months. But the dash cam feature, let me know in the chat room, or if you're watching in the replay in the comment section, if this is a feature that you guys would like, or as a matter of fact, what would be your top priority feature for Tesla to come out with in 2018. Okay, so that's another one that I liked. Oh yeah, so there's another request that the person had. This is the first time I heard this request, but some people want to warm up their windshield, their seat, and their steering wheel before getting into the car. I'm assuming I've never heard of it because I'm in California, but if you're getting into a really cold car in the freezing temperatures, that might be nice. So especially if you're parked outside. So sorry, Elon said yes to that as well. I haven't talked this much in an entire 9 days because, I was on vacation, so I wasn't really talking to anybody except for my girlfriend. So I apologize. I have to drink a lot of water today. So, in Germany, dash cams are forbidden, says Saga Photo. Ah, wow, I did not know that at all. Why is that? I don't know if you can educate me on this one. Please type it into the chat room so I can, and I will definitely research it. That's very weird. I'm assuming it's a privacy issue, but at the same, but it's inside of your car and it's most of the time in a public area. Wow, I did not know that. So let me know. Steve Rose says hi from Indiana. How are you? Happy New Year. Let me know what you guys are doing for New Year's. I'm still deciding. Cordera Jones, I always mess up your handle because I don't know where your first name ends and your last name begins. He says autopilot should be standard and the self-driving should be an extra option. I believe, wait, you mean like autopilot hardware? I believe that's already standard on Model 3. I don't know actually. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know why would anybody. Okay, I would be a little bit hesitant to say yes to that, because if you are an owner who's buying a car long term and you don't want autopilot, like for example, if I'm getting Model 3 in what I'm probably going to be getting in September. And I know that I don't want an autopilot, especially, well, you kind of guys know how I feel about it. And I know I don't want it. Why would I pay for the hardware, which is not cheap? I mean, there's a lot of cameras and, you know, the computer itself that has to process all information and make decisions. Why would I pay for all of that if I know I'm not going to use it? You know, so I'm not really sure if I would be up for that. And I think a lot of people might feel the same way. But I see where you're coming from as far as let all car be cool like this, and if you can add it as a software option, then you can do it. If the price is tiny, it's like maybe an extra, I don't know, 100, 200 bucks for all of the equipment, which could be someday, then I would say, okay, but if we all have to pay for it and not use it, then I would say it's probably going to be a waste of our money, and not too many people would want to have it. Though there's something to be said about the resale value, of course. Let's see. Shorya Bose in the chat room says, if you know the PS3 hacker, he claims to have made a 1000 self-driving system that better than Tesla Autopilot. Yeah, what are they called? Comma.io? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I kind of look at them when I was making the video about the best autopilot technology of the year, and I didn't really include them. I have to say it's too far-fetched. Even though the software might be good, there is no way to add it onto a car, because you have to have a hardware that, you know, does the steering and braking and so forth. And it looks like his software only uses can be used with a car that's already equipped with that. But how many cars really are? So I found that it's just impractical, if anything, which also means that there's just not enough data, except for their own data, but I mean like customer data actually using it, to even include it in that category. So that yeah, so Lawrence Allen, thank you in the chat room, corrects me. Model 3, well, that was my original guess, I guess. Model 3 comes standard but not activated as far as the autopilot. Okay, thank you for clearing that up. Easy can use the trunk while you are supercharging, Tesla fan says. I'm assuming you guys are talking amongst each other. Okay, okay, so yeah, those are all the features, and there's, I think, a couple more that are like not even making that much sense or not that important, but these are the main ones that I've seen that he said yes to in 2018. So I'm kind of excited. Again, dash cam was a big thing for me, so I'm definitely looking forward to it. I just hope it's sooner rather than later. All right, now another thing that he also mentioned in a tweet, and by the way, before we go to that, let me once again remind you guys that this video and this channel is sponsored by Evanex, the aftermarket accessories for Tesla. And another thing I forgot to mention is that we have our own discount code now for you guys to enjoy, and it's in the description of this video. All right, back to another tweet that Elon Musk sent. This was in reply of people suggesting that they want a pickup truck, because a lot of people believe that the pickup truck that can pick up another pickup truck that Elon was talking about during the semi-truck unveiling event was either a joke or was just a, you know, an industrial strength, if you will, truck that they will have as a feature in the existing semi-truck, and therefore most of us cannot have it because you have to have different driver license for that in most countries. You can't park it in your garage, it's too huge and needs to be mega charged, which I think most of us won't have those options. So that, even if it wasn't a joke, that's not practical. But this is the first time that I see Elon saying, yes, we will make the pickup truck right after we make the Model Y. And as you know, Model Y has been pretty quiet on that front. I know they've been busy with other things, as we know, but this is the only picture of it we have. Now that we know what Model 3 looks like, obviously this kind of looks a compact SUV that's based on Model 3, and that's what they're going to be doing. Elon, if you remember, Elon tweeted back in the day when they announced this car that Model Y will actually be more popular than Model 3, and at least here in the United States, I believe him. Now that I've been to Mexico, I believe him too. I would say a compact SUV is something that I've seen way more than I even see here in America. It's just practical there. Compact car where you can carry stuff. Very simple for everyday life, so it's that definitely is understandable. Lawrence also tells me that there are 8 cameras on Model S, X, and 3. Those are the latest ones, but like, for example, I have an Autopilot 1 Tesla from 2015, both of them, and I don't think I have 8 cameras. I think I have only 3 on that one. So again, but I will stand corrected. Yeah, so this is something that Elon is promising about a pickup truck, but of course we don't know the timeline. We don't know the timeline of Model Y. Now, the expectation is that now the semi-truck unveiling is done and the Model 3 is in production, and they're doing pretty well. I mean, there's so many different footages and reports of people either getting, Model 3 delivered. They're now like cross-country videos and stuff like that. There are now even Model 3 accidents. There are people who already wrecked them. There are a bunch of pictures there as well. I think I saw them on electric.co. So check that out there. And so there's and a lot of drone footage. You've probably seen some of the drone footage from me there. I mean, I personally went to a Fremont factory about 10 days ago, 12 days ago, and also saw lots and lots of Model 3. Obviously the production is picking up. I predict that they're probably going to end up with about 2,500 of them delivered this year, though a lot of people predicting 1,000, but I think it's going to be close to 2,500. We'll just have to wait and see, but they're definitely ramping up the production. It's going well. So I am expecting Elon to unveil Model Y sometime this year. And actually, I think they're going to go to production relatively quickly, maybe just as quickly as with a Model 3, because it's based on a Model 3. So I wouldn't even be surprised if they can announce it, they're going to announce it and then say, well, production will start in 12 months even. I think that's very reasonable. And after that, they will hopefully do the pickup truck. Elon said it's probably going to be the size of Ford F-150, which is relatively big. This is not something you can build on a Model 3 or Model Y chassis or even have the same infrastructure there, but definitely much smaller than the semi-truck. So they're going to have to kind of maybe even develop it from scratch from the well, there you go. Ben in the chat room just says Elon said truck was going to be slightly larger than an F-150, though I think there are a couple different versions of F-150. There's a long bed and short bed. Well, anyway, I don't want to get into that because I don't know if you noticed, I don't know that much about pickup trucks. Let's see. Argasi 2 in the chat room says solar roof deployable solar tent to charge the truck. I'm not quite understand if I understand the question. I mean, but this topic does come up. Can you have a solar panel kit that will come with your car to charge it? Right now, unfortunately, the solar technology is not there yet when you can just kind of spread your wings, if you will, and charge your car very fast. They're just not getting enough energy. It's not enough for a solar roof for sure. So that's not something that I think is possible right now, but I can see it being possible in the future once the technology gets much, much better. Corder Jones in the chat room says, hey, Alex, what do you expect the price of the Model Y should be? I'm hoping for around 40,000. You know what? I actually totally agree. The SUV should be a little bit more, just like Model X is a little bit more than Model S, which makes sense. And because it's based on the Model 3 architecture, I don't expect it to be that much more expensive. So, and I think it would be silly to start at over 40 because then you're kind of getting into whole kinds of different category. I would not be surprised if it's literally at 35 as well. But if it goes to like 39.9, I think that would still be very reasonable. I think it will still be a pretty good market for that car because the demand on it, I agree with Elon, might just be higher than the Model 3. So yes, I think 40,000, no more than 40,000. I think would be reasonable. It would be expectation. Tesla fan in the chat room says, Alex, did you talk about new navigation system with Tesla wants to bring him next year? Will be very advanced compared to what is on the market today? Yes, I talked about it, I think, in my last live stream before my vacation. So it's, almost 2 weeks ago, but yes, they've announced that, and it looks like the code for that is already in all of our cars. They just kind of a shadow mode testing, I think it's called, meaning like it's working in the background, but it's kind of a checking on itself if it's doing a good job, and we just don't know about it. Also, we don't know what those features are really going to be. I hope it's, and I think most of us, I would agree that it's better estimated time of arrival, which I still use my phone and I use Google Maps for that because I don't see Tesla's navigation being very accurate, especially when it comes to being in traffic. So that's something that I hope they fix. I don't know what other features, so I don't think any of us know what kind of features, but of course I'm looking forward to it because it's kind of due, but I think most of us are okay with what it is right now. It's a navigation system. It works fine, except for that one thing. D-Block 5566 says, asks, do you expect another price drop for the Model S next year? Actually, I don't. What do you mean another one? Because what they've been doing is actually raising the price. I know they've been also including some features in it, but don't forget, they were trying to create a gap, the price gap between Model S and Model X and the Model 3, because at some point people, and a lot of them still do, think that the Model 3 is a third generation Tesla, which is better than all of the previous Teslas. They're obviously afraid of losing sales for the Model S and Model X. And so they were trying to make sure that the most expensive Model 3 still will not be as expensive as the least expensive Model S. So that's why they cut out the 60 version, then the 70 version, then the 75 regular version. It's really the cheapest one you can buy right now is 75D. So and so that's why I don't expect the price drop. If they do want to give a little bit more value for the money, I expect that they will include more features, maybe like the cameras, the Autopilot 2 equipment for free. I believe they've already included one of the packages of Model X, the higher 100D Model X a while back. So I think they will give us more value for the price, but they're not going to lower the price. Let's see. Ben Penna is in the chat room once again, is asking, will Model Y have Falcon wing doors? You know, nobody knows, first of all. Like literally that picture I just showed you is all we know. That's it. What you see right now is all information we really know about Model Y, and and we just know it's going to be based on Model 3. But people speculating that no, just because of how much it's going to cost. Now, on another hand, I have to say that a lot of people love the Model X, and it's kind of a thing, you know, they're Falcon wings. So if I have to give one answer, I'm going to say no. Okay, just because, you know, this is a budget car, just like there is no heads-up display in Model 3. But I can see that maybe with time, especially if they already perfected the Falcon doors for Model X and maybe got the cost down, I can see that how that can either be an option, you know, or how that could be a standard but not automated, right? So you just have to do it manually, bring it up and down, and an option would be to have all the sensors and automation as an extra package. So I can see that, but just like I said, you know, because I got to keep the cost down, I don't see that happening. So if I'm going to go with one answer, one prediction, I'm going to say no, it's not going to have Falcon doors. Alan in chat room says, for decades, the top selling models in the US have been pickup trucks. You think that would inspire Tesla? I know. I agree. You know, I've been kind of more quiet now that the Tesla Semi has been such a big success. But to be honest with you, my feelings are still the same. I feel like they should have been developing the pickup truck rather than a semi truck. I can't think that, just dollars and cents, I would think they would be able to sell more and make more profit. And I think it would require less innovation. Not that I don't want them to innovate, but, you know, I think now that they got, you know, Model X and Model 3 and other, you know, all of these cars going and all of the technology, I believe the pickup truck would be easier to create rather than a semi-truck, because you'd go into a completely different industry and a universe really with that. So yeah, I don't want to say it's a mistake. I'm just saying it's really slowed down the progress in obviously the deliveries and production of Model Y and a pickup truck, which they, again, with a pickup truck, they just announced that they will have it sometime after Model Y, that they will have it at some time. So yeah, I agree with you. I really thought that would have inspired them, but they did not really feel the same way, I guess. Sarah Coast asked, when do you think Tesla will actually do the drive from LA to New York and assisted? You know, I see a lot of people asking that question right now, and the answer is I don't know, because I think a lot of it depends on their Autopilot development, which obviously has been behind. I mean, they're obviously struggling with this. I don't know if it's a software issue. I can't imagine it being a hardware issue, but is it sorry. Not haven't talked in a long time. Nobody talked to on the ship except for old people, so I was just kind of being quiet. Using my voice is hard now. I think I gotta develop those muscles. I gotta lose weight in my gut that I've gained with all-inclusive package on a cruise ship, and gain more muscle in my vocal cords. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, where was I? Yeah, so that's that. I really lost my train of thought. Suicide doors would be hot, says Caesar. Yes, it would be, but not yeah, it's probably not gonna happen. Sorry, it's probably gonna be doors. You know, don't forget those doors. I think those doors are just trouble, right? Because you need more space. I think Tesla's going the right direction where it's going to have doors that are easier to get into, especially a lot of people who buy SUVs, they have kids, and it's really hard to get a child seat in the car and the kid itself in the car without, you know, too much room to work with. So the doors that kind of slide up or to the left definitely make more sense. Caesar also says Model Y should come in a version as regular door, Falcon wing, and truck rear end. It should, but it probably won't. Don't forget, they just want to get the car in the market, and all of that features will be would be added later. Steve says I would have rather seen the Y than the Roadster. Another great point, Steve. You know, as exciting as the semi-truck and the Roadster have been, and they have been very exciting, it's definitely slowing down the deliveries and the innovation of cars that people need on regular basis, right? How many people are going to have a Roadster? How many people or companies are going to have a semi-truck? Not to say they're not important, they are, but I would really rather have the entire fleet, you know, of a regular person cars that Tesla makes, you know, Model Y and pickup truck being those cars before they start branching out. I mean, they already had a Roadster, okay? They already said, we can do Roadster, we can be cool and flashy, and I really just thought the second generation was unnecessary at this point, and I'm sure those resources could have gone somewhere else. Yes, extremely impressive, great show, but really useless for most of us who don't really need or can afford a Roadster. I'm being one of them, by the way, who can't afford one. So I agree with you, Steve, 100%. Let's see. Use Tesla channel says, I think they made the semi first because it would have more of a positive impact on the environment to change over semi trucks before pickups. I don't know. I mean, okay, I would have to have some numbers. Obviously, how many pickup trucks out there? How many miles are they being driven versus the semi trucks? So I'm not really sure that, but I'm not really sure that the main focus of Tesla right now is environment. I think right now their main focus, you know, they're a public company too. Their main focus is expanding, beating the competition, and most importantly, making money. I think I'm losing my voice, guys. I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to. I haven't even gone through my stories. I should probably hurry up. Whoa, Silver GT in your chat room says, I drove a Tesla Model X. I was very unimpressed. I thought Model X is the most impressive car in the Tesla lineup. So Silver GT, maybe you can clarify if you are a current Tesla owner and what it is that you didn't like in Model X compared to your current Tesla. And if you're not a current Tesla owner, what it was that you were unimpressed by, or what were your original expectations? So I think I'd like to know. Andra Der says, hi, Alex, just joining from Munich. Hey, what's going on? Welcome. This is my first live stream in a while, in about 9 days, and a happy new year. I know you guys are what, 4 hours away. We're just at it's 12 noon almost here, so we're far away from that, but I'm excited, of course. Our triplet says, Mr. Musk wants to show how adaptable Tesla is and how can it be as a vehicle manufacturer. I mean, that's great. Listen, the semi and a Roadster, great for the show. Great show. We enjoy the show. We enjoy all the bragging rights that Tesla has now. But I'm talking about reality and just, again, a show is one thing, but no better show that Tesla can have if all of these people are driving the pickup trucks or Model Ys and Model 3s and so forth. And I think that is the biggest show rather than how fast you can go 0 to 60 in a $250,000 car. But that's just me. Listen, doesn't even matter. It's done. It's done. And no one's unhappy about it. I'm just wish priorities were just a little bit different. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. By the way, guys, let me remind you of those of you who are supporting my show, would like to. Thank you so much. Patreon page is also in the description of this video. I post some exclusive footage, behind the scene footage, exclusive reporting. I'm going to be posting the entire video of the point of view that I had for the Falcon 9 launch and some of my comments. I was thinking about maybe even posting some of the videos from my vacation, though the sound there kind of sucks, so I'm not really sure. So thank you for supporting, and if you're looking to do that, the link is in the description. Okay, before I lose my voice, I should probably move on to other stories. And the next story is a Porsche Mission E. Now, I've covered this, and as a matter of fact, originally I thought it was going to be coming out at the end of 2018. It looks like it's actually going to be 2019, so Tesla is not the only company that's actually having delays. Now, I believe Automobile Magazine had a test drive in a prototype, and they reported other things. And the main one was that actually we thought that the price of this car is going to be in like almost 90s, up to 90,000, but it looks like they are going to start at about 75 to 80, which is kind of matching what Tesla Model S starts with. So Porsche is definitely trying to compete. I mean, Porsche have already admitted that they are that Tesla is stealing their and other car manufacturers' money, basically. But that's not a surprise. It's just they publicly admitted it, which is good. That's kudos to them. But now they're going to really try to compete in the price department. They're going to have 3 different versions, of course, but the lowest one will start somewhere in late 70s, if I understand them correctly. So that's exciting. But of course, I wish they would have come out with it 2018, as I believe they originally promised. Use Tesla channel says, just noticed your E4 electric car is a battery. Okay, yes, that's kind of the reason I did it. So as you can see, right here, the E, if you look at it differently, it has a battery. Well, I can't really touch it because it's the graphics behind me, but let me know if you see the battery in my logo or not. But that was my idea. Actually, it took me 3 weeks, I think, to design this logo. I started with 20 different versions, and this is the one that I think most people liked, and I liked it because it's got a battery in it, as it should. But thanks for noticing it. I appreciate it. Let's see. Okay, so Silver GT is clarifying his comment about being unimpressed by Tesla Model X, and he says that I'm not a current Tesla owner. I have a Model 3 reservation. I just expected more for an expensive car. My old Mazda RX-8 feels more premium. Okay, are you talking about the dashboard, the way things look inside? Or because you can't possibly be talking about features, right? I mean, I think we would agree. I think you would agree that the features of Model X are top of the line, and Autopilot is one of the best on the market. Also, I mean, just the technology, the screen, the updates, the handling, the acceleration, and I mean, did you notice any of those? But if you're talking about the dashboard, I think this is a matter of a preference. So the concept behind it is that electric cars are heading towards autonomous driving. And really, if you have an autonomous driving car, you really don't need a lot of things on the dashboard. But I do hear you as far as being maybe not as luxurious as you might expect. And don't forget, a lot of dashboard is buttons, right? Where here is just one screen, and that's where you do everything. Q-Tip Shark, how are you? I didn't see you comment at all, and you just have to jump in. It says Mazda RX-8 is crap inside. Okay, I have to agree. Again, Silver GT, I'm not trying to gang up on you here. I'm just genuinely trying to understand what it is that that you didn't write. Okay, so you're clarifying that it was the interior. And again, this is a preference. I still think it's a better interior than most cars. It's just because you don't see as many buttons as you normally used to. So maybe it's not an interior you're used to, but a lot of them are not necessary because you have a touch screen where only the buttons that you need at that point are really displayed for you. And a lot of it is also voice commands. So Yes, a lot of people believe it could be more luxurious for the money, but at the same time, you have to understand Tesla is kind of pushing the limits on what the car should be, and their statement is basically that it should be minimalistic. Always have problem pronouncing that. Minimalistic experience as far as your dashboards is concerned. It should be all about actual driving and self-driving features in your experience with the touch screen. But again, you know, it's hard to argue because this is such an aesthetics preference that is different for everybody. But if I were you, I would take another look at it in terms of technology, handling, safety, just a lot of features that just other cars just don't have. The fact that you have software upgrades that make this car better overnight without you having to buy anything extra as far as hardware or getting another car. I also love the look. I mean, the Falcon doors. Just there's so many things that I think you can appreciate that car. That may just sway you away from being maybe a little bit disappointed with the interior. So I would encourage you to take another look at it, or maybe wait for the Model Y, which will be a cheaper car with minimalistic experience as far as the interior is concerned. That maybe would make more sense for you. And this is why I think, and as Elon pointed out, Model Y will be the most popular Tesla they've ever made. Silver GT says the regen braking took me a while to get used to. Absolutely. That, you know, I remember my first time and it took me a few days actually, but it is a good feature. It is a good feature that makes sense. And, you know, a lot of times I tell people who are like just about to drive Tesla for the first time or even get in, you can't think of that car as just another car, a little bit better or a little bit different than others. You have to think as a car 2.0. Okay, there's just so many new concepts that Tesla introduced, which I think were way overdue into a car that should have been there all along, that you have to get used to, right? So regen braking is one of them, but for example, the car's never off. There is no on-off button. Don't you think it's kind of a BS? Why do we need on-off button? Because your crappy technology with gas needs it, that you need to light up the explosion machine under your hood? You don't. So this is another concept that you have in this car where it's just never off. Yeah, it goes into different stages of being up, but you don't need on-off button in a Tesla and in the future cars. And I think this is many features that you will have to get used to, but they just make more sense. They are the future. So, but I hope you liked it anyway, as far as once you get used to regen braking, it made sense for you. And I think it makes the ride more smooth. And don't forget, there is no transmission. So the ride is more smooth no matter what. Chris A in the chat room says, what do you think the lease price for Model 3 will be? Well, that depends, right? Lease price depends on your purchase price, on the residual value, on your credit history, on the particular sale or discount they might have at that time. How many miles are you going to be allowed to drive per year? So I can't answer that question. I do have quite a few videos, not quite a few, but 2 or 3 videos about buying versus leasing. I believe that leasing is better for most people, though most of them don't really know about it. So if you're interested, definitely watch that video, and hopefully you will find lease as just a cheaper option for you. But right now they don't have it. I'm not going to get a Model 3 until they have the lease option. Both of my cars are leased right now because I believe in it full-heartedly. There's nothing to believe in. It's just math. It works for me and for most people much better. Hey, Tony, in the chat room, I think you're just joining us because I haven't seen your comment from Minneapolis. Happy New Year, Tony. Thank you so much for your emails. I appreciate that. And of course, Tony is one of the Patreons. Thank you for that, Tony. Hope you're doing well. Steve Rose says, are you getting a 3? Yes, I am getting a 3, even though I'm allowed. Well, allowed. I've already got an email from Tesla and a few phone calls and emails, I have to say. I'm not going to get it right now, simply because I don't need the long range. One of my current Model S's, it has a smaller range than a small range for the Model 3, and I'm just fine, so I don't need a longer range. Also, I lease my car, so I'm going to wait until you can lease that. And my current cars are not expiring. The leases are not expiring until this fall, so I'm going to wait. But yes, I'm going to get one, most likely for my girlfriend, who will be driving it most of the time. Q-Tip Shark says buttons are crap. The less crap, the better. Touch is better than push. You know, I agree with you, and this is why I've been disappointed with car manufacturers like Toyota and Lexus, which is the same company really, where they went forward with the touch technology, and I think a lot of companies did, and then they went back to just a joystick that was, I think, pioneered by BMW, which is complete crap, I believe. I think touch is the way to go. Obviously, 3D is coming up where you'll be able to pretty much touch the air and operate your car that way. So I was really disappointed. Sorry, guys, I'm kind of losing my voice because I haven't talked for nine days being on vacation. So I've gone for about an hour. I'm not really sure how much more I have. I have a few more news to tell you about, so we'll get to it in a second. Mitchell Borrow says, how was your cruise? This is my 4th cruise. It was great. We went to Mexico. And at this time, I decided not to take excursions, and I decided to actually visit the real Mexico. We had we had some friends who live in Puerto Vallarta, so they showed us around. And that was very impressive. I just have to say that, you know, this is somewhere where a lot of people, not a lot, some people in America and Europe moved to for a few months just to live there. Now I understand why. It is really nice. And don't forget, it's freezing cold here, even in California. It is like full on summer there, warm ocean. It's really cool. And I did have one experience that I always wanted to have. I'm gonna actually have a video for this. I'm gonna show it to you guys, but let's see, I gotta find it. Oh yeah, so I don't know if you know, this service is not allowed. There are regulations against it here in the United States. Let me know if you guys are in Europe or anywhere else in the world if this is allowed. But this is a spa treatment. This is where you go into like a beauty spa and you put your feet into a bowl with a tiny little fish. And what that fish feeds on is dead skin. So what they do is they kind of attack your feet, and it tickles. It actually feels really cool. They attack your feet here. Here's the video. Wait, did I not? Let me see. Oh, my bad. Here, as you can see, they kind of attack your feet, and they just basically eat all of the dead skin off of your feet. So you kind of get rejuvenated treatment for your feet. Now, again, here in the United States, it's not really allowed. But in Mexico, like many things are, it's allowed. It's a pretty cool. I absolutely loved it. It was a very clean spa. It's been there for a while, from what I understand. So I wasn't really that concerned about anything. But this is a treat. This was I mean, yes, going into real neighborhoods in Mexico was great, and hanging out with our friends and the cruise and unlimited food. All that was great. But this was one of the highlights. I always wanted to do this. I'm 40, so I figured, you know, might as well do it now. So I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, just kind of wanted to share that. But guys, let's move on. Let's move on to another story, which is Nissan Leaf. As you know, Nissan Leaf is going on sale tomorrow, only in a few hours in the United States. They are already selling it in Europe, and they just came out and said that they already have over 10,000 reservations just in Europe for the Nissan Leaf. As you know, this car was heavily featured in my e-awards in many different categories, sometimes even opposing categories, some might say. And they're going to be on sale here in the United States. As you guys know, I've been very much impressed with this car. They have turned it around. They're literally comeback of the year. If you ask me, it's amazing, and the response is, you know, they already had a following of a pretty good following. They sold over 100,000 of these ugly things, not these things. The previous version, which I think is ugly, the range is horrible, the tech is horrible. Now, of course, this one does not have still active thermal management system. I hope that corrected. That was one of the biggest disappointments of the year in my e-awards, but yeah, I expect the sales for this car to be amazing with a $7,500 credit. The tax credit here in the United States, you know, this starts at $30,000 with that, and like here in California without rebate, you can get this car for $20,000. Why wouldn't you? This is an amazing deal, obviously, and I think people will go for it. I think this will outsell, or at least be very close to Model 3. So they reported that they're definitely having a really successful year, and they're going to come out with a GT version, which is a sportier version of this car. I couldn't find the pictures that they released. I've looked at their press site. They don't have it yet, but looking forward to it. But for now, I just hope they work on the thermal management system and get that to us as soon as they can, because that is one of the biggest disappointment of the year. Steve Rosen in chat room says Nissan could do better. I think they can do better. I agree with you. The range of 150 miles is even though acceptable, but definitely a little disappointing. They did say that they will come up with another version with a longer range. I expect it to be at least 200 miles, but they're still working on it, so that needs to change. But at the same time, don't forget, for the price that what you're getting and for the following and the brand, don't forget Nissan is an established brand that a lot of people really like, including myself. This is not a better deal, but yes, I mean this is a good deal, but yes, they can definitely do better. Nice watch, says George. Thank you, George. I appreciate it. How are you? Hope you're having a happy new year. Yes, it's an oversized watch, which I really like. It's actually the one that I really like in my watch collection. And the rule for my watch collection is, you know, that all watches have to be under $100. But yeah, I really love this one. Thank you for noticing, George. And again, I hope you are having a good holiday season. Tony says, nope, I can't do that, Alex. I'm way too ticklish on my feet. More power to you. Talking about my little fish video. Dude, I gotta tell you, you get used to it after about 10 seconds. Everyone's reaction is always like, oh my god, but I had the same reaction. That's why I just reenacted it, you see. But you get used to it, and actually you end up enjoying it. You can be there for like 15 minutes or 30 minutes or 60 minutes. So it is an experience one should have at least once. Tech stuff says, hey, someone posted a video of a short video of a Tesla smartphone in a German Tesla store called Tesla L with 700-mile battery. Okay, if you can email it to me, I would appreciate it. I'll definitely take a look at it. alex@e4electric.com. Coda Jones says, Alex, I always get you crap on your shirts, so I'm letting you slide today. I have to say this, I like this shirt because it goes well with my background. I also like the two-tone. As well, I don't know if you notice, I wear 5 or 6 different versions of this shirt with different color combinations, and I really like it. I think it looks really good with the background. And I get them on Amazon, where I pretty much get everything except for my cars, really. So, but if you don't like this shirt, I will be marrying more of the t-shirts that I've designed. I have 8 different designs of just kind of funny t-shirts. I have to buy them myself, so they're still being delivered right now, but you can see them in my t-shirt store. I mean, you can buy t-shirts and cups and all that, you know, stuff and sweatshirts. It's in the description of this video, so if you're interested, either buying it or just taking, you know, having a bit of a giggle on the expense of my designs. I thought some of them were pretty funny. Tony says, pretty cool shirt, Alex. So see, we have people on both sides here. I kind of reminds me of a Stonewashed jeans in the 90s. It is a retro kind of look, so I agree. So yeah. Dan K in the chat room says, people keep saying the government gives billions of dollars every year to Tesla and Tesla would collapse without it. Is this true? It depends how you look at it. Not sure about billions and billions and billions, but obviously Tesla, by the way, Tesla has received some money for the governments, which they paid with interest. So actually, they contributed to our government and to our country. Also, a lot of these incentives are not really directly to Tesla. They are to us consumers buying Tesla products. But those the same benefits are good for other car manufacturers if they would make electric cars, which a lot of them don't. So yes, Tesla receives more of it, I would say, but only because they're doing it. You know, the other car manufacturers could have been doing it, they're not, and so maybe they're losing because of that. So that's that. Just like with any new technology, almost any new technology that you enjoy, at some point, some government has given incentives to people to buy it. But here in the United States, nobody gets more incentives than oil industry. And I believe also corn industry. The industries that have established make a humongous amount of money, but there's still oil subsidies in these countries and are by far exceeding any kind of handouts, government handouts that Tesla has. Will they collapse without it? I don't think so at this point. I think Tesla has definitely been helped by all of the incentives that the government did, but they also used them correctly. There are a lot of other companies who've mishandled it, like Fisker or Solinger, right? Those companies went belly up. Fisker is emerging out of the bankruptcy right now, but at the same time, you have to understand, just because you give people money doesn't mean they will use it well. It's true with most people. It's definitely true with companies as well. Tesla used it well. They continue using it well. And just like I said, when that $7,500 tax credit was it looked like it was going away, I thought that Tesla will be just fine. As a matter of fact, they benefited from it the most, so that kind of gave them advantage. So I think at this point, they will definitely be fine without any kind of incentives. And I believe they've used up most of it, as you know, after they sell their 200,000th car, which is definitely going to be this year. That incentive is going to be phased out and they will be forced to stand on their feet. They also used to sell ZEP credits, which I believe they do, but it just doesn't get them as much money as it used to. So that's that. So to answer your question, I think they'll be just fine, but they have been helped by the government incentives that are also applied to other industries that don't even need it, which is just the way how the world goes around. Let's see. So that was Dan K's comment. Greg Shaw says, what do you think of that Tesla conversation? Maybe it wasn't for me because I don't really know. George is asking, are you still going to CES? I am still going to CES. I never considered not going. I have a press pass. I will be there for the first 2 press days, which is before it starts, and the first 2 days of the actual show. I got some interesting interviews lined up. Baton and Fisker are going to be unveiling their cars. I will be there. I don't know if I will be streaming live for you guys because of the music. If there's a copyrighted music and I'm checking on that, I will not be able to stream it. I will have to just videotape it and then put a different music on top of that before I can go and share that with you guys. But whatever I can, I will go live on the floor of the CES. So I'm planning on bringing a lot of live shows to you guys in those 4 days. But also, I'll probably have a 2 or 3 weeks worth of different content to share with you as I am there, as long as my batteries are staying charged, which is kind of my motto, right? But I'm bringing like 10 different batteries for my camera. Tesla fan is fighting with Silver GT over his statement about Model X not being as him being disappointed in it while he drives a Mazda, which Tesla fan says is the biggest BS cars on the market. I mean, I don't think Mazdas are the biggest BS cars on the market. I think BMWs are, but that's a whole different conversation, guys. But I'll let you fight it out. I would just encourage. I'm sorry, I forgot your Silver GT. I would encourage you to look at other features of the Model X. Overlook the simplistic design of the dashboard, and I would just kind of compare the features that really matter to you, to your Mazda or to other cars, and I think you'll find the Model X as just one of the best cars ever made. Also, Tesla fan points out that Tesla has a better quality materials than Mazda RX-8, period, which is mainly true. Avery Davis says, charging infrastructure, can any other company use Tesla charging system? No, other companies cannot use Tesla supercharging. So regular chargers, yes, because you can put an adapter on a Tesla end of the charger and do it in whatever, almost at this point, whatever a charging configuration you have in your car, but that's only for regular charging. For the superchargers, the energy and the power that's going through that will burn the crap out of your car if you put an adapter on it. So don't do that. So no, and you cannot use the supercharger if you have any other car. Let's see. Tony in the chat room says hundreds of billions each year that they've given to Tesla and other EV companies pales in comparison, which is true. Definitely pales in comparison to agriculture, especially corn and oil subsidies. That is for sure. Tesla fan, I will suggest to cancel your Model 3 reservation. Okay. Yeah, if you are, well, okay, so Tesla fan, I think he was disappointed about what Model X was for the money he's paying. If he's still going to get Model 3, obviously it's a much cheaper car. Hopefully the simplistic look will be better. And I really think that Silver GT will change his mind once he really considers the features of the Model 3 versus whatever it is next car he'll be considering as far as other choices. I think he will come around and see that this Model 3 will be by far the better choice that he will have for his money. Oh, and the airlines, that's right. The airlines also get a lot of subsidies, which they really shouldn't, I believe. But yeah. As ice manufacturers would have collapsed long ago if the government wasn't subsidizing that industry. And Tony, you are absolutely correct. But also remember that a huge bailout that most companies, the car companies here in America got from our government, that otherwise they would have all gone belly up. So that's right. That's just that alone probably answers that question pretty nicely. I completely forgot about it. Good call, Tony. Can a man not have his own opinion? No, Silver GT. I really listen. Listen. You asked the question, and you are here in a electric car community where I think I've been nothing but respectful to you, and you guys. I've encouraged everybody else not to jump on his back, and if you want to convince him to be a Tesla fan, you have to convince him with facts, not name calling. Though I don't think I've seen. Well, okay, Tesla fan. I think I see what Silver GT is referring to. So, guys, no name calling here, please. If you want to convince somebody that Tesla is a better brand, you definitely don't need name calling. You can just outline the features and the benefits of owning a Tesla. I would rather go with that. Okay. Let's see. Silver GT says that he's the biggest Tesla fanboy ever. Oh, good. That takes pressure off of me. just kidding. Let's see. What do you think? Greg says, what do you think of the Tesla Model S? Oh, conversion. You mean to the station wagon? Yeah, it's cool. I don't really have a need for a station wagon. I think that people who need more room just need to go with a Model X. I think that's a cool project. I just don't find it as amusing as a lot of other people, but I have to say that a lot of people found it very amusing. And it's if you haven't seen the video, I believe Fully Charged is the channel where they have the video. Definitely check it out. George asks a Model X P100D versus Model S P100D. Thoughts? I think it's all about your needs and about your taste. If you need a sports utility vehicle, or you have more kids or a bigger family, then it's Model X. If you're more of a a joyrider kind of a thing, then a Model S might just be the right answer for you. So so that's a very personal preference. I don't think an expert or anybody can give you an opinion on that would make sense for you personally. Let's see. Derek says, I saw 2 Model 3s at the Sunnyvale location. Very cool. Yes, they're all over the place nowadays here. Yeah. And if you want to see a sea of them, if you want to see a lot of them, just go to a Fremont factory. This is really overwhelming how many of them are there. Ben says, Alex is very fair and honest. I appreciate it. I'm really trying to be. I think that's the whole point of the show. This is not a Tesla show. This is electric car universe type of the show. Today's live stream will cross 2 hours soon, says Varun. I strongly doubt it because I'm losing my voice and I have to go to the bathroom really badly. so yeah, I think I have another 10 minutes in me or so. Tony says, Alex, I agree with Cook Arpro. We thank you for the content you provide on your channel. Hey guys, that's my pleasure. I miss doing this. I wish I wasn't losing my voice or drink a lot of tea before the show. Matthew says, hey everyone, love the show. Keeps me informed on the latest EV news. Thank you, E4 Electric. Thank you for watching, Matthew. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to all of you guys. Silver GT said, what do you think electric cars will be in BLB 20,000? It is basically tomorrow here in the United States. Well, after all the incentives, you can get a Nissan Leaf for 20,000. Because it's $30,000 car, and after incentives, it will be 20,000. So there you go. IP Freely says, physics. I appreciate the honesty, but I will gonna go ahead and hold on for just another 5 minutes or so. Let's see. Will Fisker make a comeback? Asks Ben. Well, I will report that to you from CES, where they're going to unveil their eMotion car right in front of my eyes. So I'm going to let you know that. I think they will, but it all depends on how much money they have in the bank and if they are going to be able to bring it to production. Dan asks, are you going to Fisker event on January 9th at Quanergy? Absolutely. I already booked my interview as well. So I will bring that to you guys, if not live, definitely in a post-production. Okay, let's cover a couple more news before I literally pee my pants. Okay, semi-truck. Tesla opened the reservations for semi-truck in Europe, and they've done well there. There are quite a few reservations that are public now from their local companies. I think they will do even better in Europe than they will be in the United States, simply because the distances are smaller. So even if you get a 300-mile option, you'll be just fine in Europe. And if you get a 500-mile option, then you'll be totally covered. So yeah, and they've done well. Obviously, not all of them are public. And I think from what I understand, there were some issues with the regulations. They're adjusting to European regulations that Tesla has overcome. And now they're offering it in Europe, and they're doing well. Varun in the chat room says correctly, Nissan Leaf. 2018 will be close to 20,000 with incentives. Actually, it's going to be exactly 20,000 if you get a base version and get a California and the federal rebate in full. And the last story I wanted to talk about, EV rebates in China, guys. So this is a big deal. Their EV rebates is about 10% of the cost of the car. So whatever it is you buy, they'll give you 10% back, which is pretty cool. I think it gets capped at 10,000 American dollars. I'm not sure, but there's some sort of a cap. It was expiring on January 1st of this coming year, and they prolonged it for 3 more years until 2020, I believe December 31st, 2020. So that's great news. China has been on the front lines of this revolution, so there is no surprise. The only thing that they have not done follow through with their promise is they are not going to have a mandate. That we kind of knew that for a while for 2018, but in 2019 they will have a mandate that any manufacturer that imports their cars, or even I believe makes their cars into China, has to have at least 10% of their sales in electric cars. So that's a big news. However, they're not going to do it in 2018, just 2019. A little disappointing, but obviously electric car rebate being there is extremely good news for everybody. Let's see. Okay, well, those are, I believe, all of the news that I have for you guys as far as just catching up with what's happening. Obviously, I'll try to catch up with a couple of them tomorrow. As I mentioned, I was not able to go over your comments. It probably took me a few hours, but I will do that. I'm just trying to prepare for the show as I got from my vacation late last night. Derek in the chat room says, is there a good method to calculate the tax and license fee for buying the Model 3? To be honest with you, what I would do, I would call up Tesla and have them do it for you, because right now they can just grab any random VIN number, or at least the VIN number of the configuration that you would like, and then they will probably tell you. It does depend on your state, obviously, so I would suggest just calling them up. DRK says Porsche Mission E is too expensive unless it will be the next level in some way. Well, you know, my early news about the Mission E is that they're actually going to match the Tesla's pricing at about 75 to 80K to start with. They'll have 3 different levels, obviously going into hundreds. But that's, so yeah, they may not be too expensive, and they're promising the range of 310 miles. No, 300 miles in the real world range, as they put it. Let's see. Greg is making a prediction for the stock for the rest of the year that will not hit $400. Probably not. Is stock market is even open today? Let's see. I'm just trying to catch up all of all the comments. Lucas Mosh says, thanks, Alex. Happy New Year, and more exciting year for all electric cars. Happy New Year as well to you. Let me just remind you of a couple more things before I kind of wrap up. This channel and this video is sponsored by Evanex, and there's a discount code just for you guys in the description of this video. Of course, those of you who would like to contribute to the show and get some exclusive content, behind the scene footage, and other things that I do specifically for Patreons, please also check out the patreon.com/e4electric, or you can see the link in the description of this video. And I will be putting one up tonight, the full video of the my view from Avila Beach of the Falcon 9 launch earlier last week. So just to finish up, you know, Happy New Year, as a lot of you guys are probably heading to celebrate or start your New Year celebration. I think we all can celebrate together, as far as 2017 being an amazing breakthrough year for electric cars. And I think 2018 will be the year where electric cars will start becoming a thing. We have a long way to go. Long way to go. As somebody who just came from Mexico and saw not a single charger, not a single electric car, not a single real person who really wants to have one or knows that much about it. So lots of work to be done, but I think it will be a lot. Varun is asking, well, will Tesla come to India? I think that 2018 will be the year where Tesla will start slowly making it to that market. I think Indian government are doing a lot of things right now to incentivize that, to start building the infrastructure and so forth. So I think that would be definitely something that we will be seeing next year, at least some moving towards India. It is a big market. Just need some regulations and infrastructure to be figured out. But I already made a video about how excited I am in 2018. Tesla is definitely making its case to continue being the leader, and they will definitely be the leader next year. But we also see so many different other manufacturers are finally getting off their butts, producing cars and producing a pretty decent cars. I'm looking forward to it. I will be in the CES, Consumer Electronics Show, and there will be some unveilings there. A lot of new technologies that I'm going to report on for you guys, because this is the year for electric cars to have a breakthrough and be on the front lines. And I think this is the year that a lot of people who are going to be buying new cars, at least here in the United States and Europe, Australia, and so forth, will definitely have at least one electric car as their potential option. I think this is where the whole revolution really starts. And obviously Model 3 will be flooding the market. It looks like they're doing very well. They will reach 20,000 cars per month production rate very soon. I see them flooding the market. I see them winning a lot of hearts and Silver GT. I'm hoping you would be one of them. Definitely keep your reservation. I think you will be very happy with it. Yeah, so this is going to be a great year for us, guys. This is going to be exciting. This is why doing this daily live feeds will be even more exciting. They will probably become a little longer though. I've really been trying to keep them under 10 minutes. Obviously I failed miserably, but there will be so many more things to talk about, so many more manufacturers. Nissan Leaf is coming, Audi e-tron Quattro, Porsche Mission E at the end of the year, beginning of 2019. Obviously, a lot of Tesla announcement, a lot of Tesla cars and features are going to be coming out. I know I'm forgetting Nissan Leaf, I'm forgetting Chevy Bolts, Journeys, and Renault Zoes. Fisker is re-emerging. Baton is the new car company that's going to be producing the cars. NIO is going to be kicking ass in China. A lot of Chinese-backed companies, and a lot of money will go a long way. This is going to be an amazing year. I wish I could sound more excited. It's just I am literally just about to lose my voice. Smart homes from CES, Greg is absolutely right. I see a lot of smart cities and smart home concepts that I can see as exhibitors at the CES. That will be definitely a breakthrough, and I will report on that for you guys for sure. And guys, I can't thank all of you enough. I mean, this channel is a little over a year old, and I think I'm finally finding my voice, which is basically involving you guys and the community. Build a community around this concept, live shows every day, making sure that everybody who wants to participate in this conversation has their voice, either here in the chat room when we do live shows, or in the comment section when you watch it in replay, which 95% of people who watch these videos watch in the replay, and that's why I make sure to reply to, or at least to read all of the comments, which I am 9 days behind on because I was on my vacation, and this is what I'm going to do today and tomorrow to catch up on my comments. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. I wish you all the happy new year. I am going to start my celebration pretty soon as well. So I will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. if you're awake. I'm going to be awake and doing this show anyway. I'm probably going to be trying to reply to a lot of comments, so there will be a lot of comments of the day. Happy New Year. I will see you guys next year, which is only less than 23 hours. Other than that, I just have an amazing year. And of course, remember to stay charged.